Hello everyone and welcome back to day number 6 of our Mayhem pay-per-view series. Another 4 cracking matches tonight, culminating in a main event where we will crown the number 1 contender for the United States Championship as Bob Backlund goes 1-on-1 against Ric Flair. And here we go, then we're kicking things off with a match suggested by Omega Project. This one is Bobo Brazil going up against Keith Lee. Now, Bobo Brazil had a performance recently, actually, didn't he? Yeah, as part of a 6-man tag against the New Day. Did pretty well in that one, and he's hoping to continue that run here this evening into the singles division. But Keith Lee also someone who'll be looking for some points. Let's have a goosey gander at the old rankings. Keith Lee currently sits on -2 overall. He's on 0 for the year, but -2 comes over from last year, whereas Bobo Brazil currently sits on +1 after that trios win the other day. So yeah, Keith Lee does need this one. And it looked like the Keith Lee Strickland tag team is an interesting concept I never really thought of, but it looks like that's what they're going with going into the pay-per-view, isn't it? It looks like they're going to go with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Keith Lee and Swerve versus Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs. There we go. I managed to get my words out eventually. I got confused there for a second. That looks like what they're going to go for. As Bobo Brazil taking the control here of Keith Lee, takes him up onto his shoulder, and now going to drop him face first. Look at those big strikes, and Bobo Brazil so much in control at this point in time. As Bobo now heads up to the top. Looking, oh, I don't know what that was. I can only imagine that was what you call in the industry an absolute freaking disaster. That was quite embarrassing, wasn't it, really? As Bobo now wrenching back at the hand and dropping his body weight across the spine now as well. And Bobo Brazil in with a running clothesline and a second. So much dominance here in this match. Bobo Brazil now once again dragging Keith Lee into the middle of the ring. He's going to go in for the pin. Will this be enough to pick up the 3 count? Wow. Not quite. It was close though. Very, very close. Keith Lee now spinning Bobo Brazil around. And the strike right in the chest. But Bobo Brazil fights back. As Brazil now just mounting Keith Lee and raining down those big, big strikes. And in with that big spear as well by Bobo Brazil. Straight into the pin. Will that be enough to pick up the victory? It is. Bobo Brazil continues his great run of form with that singles win, which is going to move him up to +2 in the rankings, whereas Mr. Keith Lee is now going to drop down to -3 in the rankings. Not a good time for Keith Lee at this point in time, is it really? But Bobo Brazil, great win for him. So once again, thank you Omega Project for that suggestion. And we move on tonight. We've got some very interesting ones tonight. I've already spoke about the main event, but coming up next, a massive 6-man tag. And here we go, then we are underway with the match suggested by MZK Punk or Mohammed. And this one is going to be very interesting indeed. Absolute brutality. We have got the Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta going up against the brutal trio of Brock Lesnar, Ken Shamrock, and Matt Riddle. Now, it's an interesting one, this as well, because, I mean, still, neither team is really at a point where they are, like, know each other well, is what I'm trying to say. So, that's the thing, really. Normally, I would say with certain times, we have an advantage one way or the other because one team has a lot more experience working together as a team. But in this case, I don't really think so. I mean, the Blackpool Combat Club have worked together as a team on a few occasions. Nothing major, though. And at the moment, it's a very back-and-forth match. This one really could go either way at this point in time. Riddle doing well there, taking down Wheeler Yuta. You've got Moxley branching off against Ken Shamrock. As you see the fisherman suplex there by Riddle, broken up by Danielson, but I think the Yuta would have kicked out anyway. Lovely German suplex there by Mox. And at the moment, it's the new combination. I gotta say they're in control, but not this. It just changes back and forth, back and forth. It's difficult to keep track of who's on top, isn't it, really? As a beautiful Saito suplex there by Lesnar on Moxley, who rolls to the outside. Shamrock with a belly-to-belly slam on Wheeler Yuta. Seems like Shamrock and Lesnar are both going after Wheeler Yuta. And there is a sleeper submission locked in, but straightaway Bryan Danielson there to break it up. As Lesnar now taking Danielson up on the shoulders. Mox is back up to his feet on the outside now, though. Looking to re-enter the ring, which he does. Creeps up behind Ken Shamrock and drops him in that belly-to-belly. Danielson now with the big strikes across the chest. Oh, a big boot around the side of the head as well. And you see now, oh, submission locked in here. We've got the pin by Danielson. We've got the submission by Wheeler Yuta there on Riddle, and Riddle breaks free. I mean, Lesnar's been down for well over a 3 count here. But it's not enough to get the win as of yet. Lovely suplex. As Danielson now locking in that LeBell lock on Lesnar. But Shamrock is in. And Shamrock, well, Shamrock, instead of break up the submission, just kicks the referee in the face. Maybe Shamrock's thinking about the impending Bloodsport tournament coming up. And by Lesnar having an injury, that might make it a lot easier for Shamrock to go further. Danielson now with the big kicks across the chest of Lesnar. Danielson now getting around the back and rolling through Lesnar. Great collegiate style wrestling there. Yuta now, lovely takedown. I mean, it's Blackpool Combat Club completely on top at this point in time. But it just turns around on a pin, doesn't it? It's just so quickly the whole thing turns around. It looks like Lesnar has actually been busted open. And Lesnar now looking for... Oh my god, what a German that was by Lesnar. Absolutely launched Mox across the ring. And Lesnar with a shooting star press to the outside. What an absolute nutter. Lesnar just did a shooting star press to the outside on Jon Moxley. And now all of a sudden Blackpool Combat Club is in trouble. There's the belly-to-belly slam by Shamrock on Yuta. Drags him away from the ropes. Now in with a pin as Riddle has control of Brad Danielson. But Danielson was able to fight free. But Yuta just about able to break free from the pin before the free anyway. Danielson now with Riddle, going to drag him up into that reverse dragon sleeper, using the rope to his advantage there, so he can't hold it for long, of course. Danielson now dumping Riddle to the outside. Riddle springs back in, straight into Danielson, in with that Northern Lights suplex. And now the Kimura lock locked in by Lesnar. And the LeBell lock locked in here by Bryan on Riddle. And Riddle tapped. Riddle tapped, but the ref didn't see it. No, he did see it. Okay. I was going to say I didn't think the ref saw it because it looked like Ken Shamrock had just about caught him from behind. But yes, he did see it. And that is the victory for the Blackpool Combat Club in this one. Big match, big win again for these guys. So Moxley was on +5, is now going to move up to +6. Danielson was on +8, is now going to move up to +9. Wheeler Yuta was on -3, now moves up to -2. And in the tag team division, where is Yuta? Blackpool Combat Club, there we go, +1 in there as well. That puts +2 in the tag team rankings as well. And then on the other side, we've got Lesnar, who was on +7, is going to move down to +6. Shamrock was on 0, going to move down to -1. And then Riddle was on -1, going to move himself down to -2. Right, let's move on to our next match. And here we go, our next match of the evening, suggested by Dave, who has requested to be left alone. We have got Alexa Bliss up against Dakota Kai in the women's division. Two women who, again, I mean, the women's division is still pretty... It's still pretty behind, isn't it? I mean, it's getting there. I mean, I want to see more of the rankings change around. But Alexa Bliss currently down on -3. She's having a tough time of life. Dakota Kai currently up on +1. She's had 3 matches so far, Dakota Kai. All this year, are they? Yeah. All 3 matches Dakota Kai has had have been in 2022. Probably because we've actually got a version of her now on the game. Probably the one and only version that's ever going to be on a game, to be honest, now she's gone. Lovely dropkick in the back of the head there by Dakota Kai. And now slamming Alexa Bliss into the mat. And Kai looking for that big double foot stomp, not quite enough. Alexa Bliss now gets caught. And Dakota Kai comes back with the strikes. And the lights have gone off, and Alexa Bliss is all of a sudden behind Dakota Kai. That's an interesting little animation for Alexa Bliss to have access to, isn't it, really? But there you go. Bliss now dropping those double knees right into the gut, and once again with the double knees. Dakota Kai up, and a big running strike into the face. Alexa Bliss now launching her across the ring. And Alexa Bliss raining down those strikes brutally. before now locking in their head scissors. Alexa Bliss slamming Dakota Kai face first into the mat before now. Looking for that running dropkick, completely missed it though. That boot right in the gut there by Dakota Kai. Springs to the other side before hitting that big boot. No, misses the big boot in the face. And a lovely little... well, there was no power behind that, was there, really? A little bit disappointing there, really. I expected more of that. There's the pin now by Alexa Bliss for the 1. The 2. Only a 2 count. Bliss can't believe it. She thought she had the match won there. Bliss now up on the top, looking for that twisted Bliss. I think she just about caught some of it. Not really much of it, to be honest. There's the pin for the 1, 2. Will it be enough? It is enough. Okay. I didn't think she got all of that, but evidently it was enough to get the victory. Dakota Kai takes a loss and moves her down to 0 in the rankings, whereas Alexa Bliss gets herself a victory and moves herself up to -2 in the rankings. We sort the rankings out again, and there we go. Fully updated. And a handshake afterwards as well, because that makes perfect sense between these two, doesn't it, really? Yeah, why not? And here we go then, we are underway. A match suggested by MZK Punk. This one is Bob Backlund versus Ric Flair. And the winner of this one will face off against Bret Hart in the finale show, night number 8, for the United States Championship. So lots up for grabs here. I mean, tomorrow, our next show is when we really start off with some of the more interesting ones. We've got lined up, we've got the Women's Championship, Deonna Purrazzo versus The Bunny. We've got Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. And then on our final night, of course, we have got Steiner and Son versus the House of Black for the Tag Team Championships. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. I really butchered that, didn't I? And of course, Bret Hart versus the winner of this one. Lots of championships up for grabs. As the battle now taking place on the outside. Not quite what we expected from these two. As Backlund did have him up on the shoulders, but... oh, wow, Flair fighting back. Flair now sending straight into the apron. Goes Bob Backlund, who now re-enters the ring. And the strikes are coming here from Backlund. Remember, both these guys like to utilize those submission finishes. Of course, we know Ric Flair likes to lock in that figure 4 leg lock, whereas Bob Backlund with a crossface chicken wing. As Flair now fighting Backlund away, sending him over the shoulders. Over the shoulders and far away. Bob Backlund is here to play. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Making my own little weird songs, as you do. Backlund with a boot in the gut and now runs straight into Ric Flair, face first. Backlund now taking Flair up on the shoulders. Flair fighting back with a strike in the face. Clubbing blow into the back and now just pinching away at the trapezius muscles there in the shoulder. There's a single leg Boston Crab locked in. And Backlund gets from the back of Flair, going to dump him once again over the ropes. And springs him off, crashing to the outside. Nice takedown by Backlund before twisting his boot into the face. And Backlund now sending Flair straight into the ring steps. Is Backlund going to try and win this one by countout? Well, both guys are back up on their feet now. Referee's only at a free count as Backlund once again throwing Flair to the ground. Nice knee right in the face. Referee up to a 6 count. Bob Backlund slides in and slides back out though to break up the referee's count, shall I say, sorry. Flair now just twisting his boot once again in the face of Backlund, and again. Backlund now once again sending Flair into the barriers, and Backlund is in firm control of this on the outside. And again, the two of them go back to the outside. It's like Flair wants to get out there and battle Backlund out there, but it's just backfiring every time he does go to the outside, isn't it, really? Backlund now in some control. Well, that's a... Sorry, my phone. Sorry, someone just rung my phone and it just popped up and started making noise. I do apologise about that. Flair now in control, rolls around. The referee's back up to a 5, and we do finally get ourselves back in the ring. Flair fighting back with the elbows in the gut. There's the pin by Flair. Oh, not quite enough. And there is the tap out by Backlund from the figure 4 leg lock, and Ric Flair's got the win. Ric Flair has got the win. Ricky Flairenstein. Ric Flair then was on -4, now going to move up to -3. And Bob Backlund was on -2. He's going to move down to -3. So, bit of a switch of places between these two. But Ric Flair, like I said, is going on to our next episode. No, not our next one, sorry. On our final episode of the Mayhem shows. And he'll be fighting for the SWE United States Championship against Bret Hart. Right, we're going to leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed. Of course, if you have, hit the like, subscribe, all the other good stuff. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.